fantastic Friday to all of you out there. This is a specialist edition of the Scott Manning YouTube Sports Talk Show. It is actually the MLB trade deadline special. We had a lot of great trades and a lot of acquisitions right at the trade deadline here on this Friday. The trade deadline is now come and gone. I will address some of those trades here in just a moment. Well, let's go ahead and go right into the show here since I was going to fire up the theme song to This Week in Baseball. But this is a special day, and we're just going to go ahead and just go right into it here. All right, everybody, we're just going to go right into the show here. As we get ready to talk about this trade deadline, I'm just going to tell it to you like it is. Today was a special day. The Los Angeles Dodgers are now loaded. The San Francisco Giants have been quiet all day. And then right out of the blue, right at the buzzer, they get a huge blockbuster. I'm going to address that all and more. But we're going to go right into the show. Let's get started with this trade deadline special. The Los Angeles Dodgers, a super deal. They got the biggest prize of them all. Max Scherzer and shortstop Trey Turner were acquired from the Dodgers from the Washington Nationals. This is huge. Max Scherzer so far in 2021, it could be one of the best things that ever happened to the Dodgers. He brings an 8-4 record with a 2.76 ERA, a whip of 0.89, and 147 strikeouts. This is a big one. Trey Turner, he's a shortstop, but he could be sharing those duties with Corey Seager. Seager's coming back, and that could be a huge thing too. Trey Turner so far in 2021, the man's hitting .322 with an OBP of .369, a slugging percentage of .521, an OPS of .840, and he brings 18 home runs and 49 RBIs. So far, and that's what he's bringing with him for 2021. This was huge for a lot of reasons. The Dodgers are loaded. And you add in Danny Duffy coming over from the Kansas City Royals, the Dodgers are going to be the team to beat in the National League West. Or at least everybody was thinking that all day long. But Danny Duffy, he's had a great 2021 despite the struggles that the Royals have had. He has a 4-3 record with a 2.51 ERA, 65 strikeouts, and a whip of 1.51. And a lot of people are thinking, guys, why did you get Danny Duffy at the deadline? Why did you do that? Well, I've had a lot of people ask me that all day. However, at the end of the day, seeing what can happen, the bottom line is this. The Dodgers are now loaded. And now the question has been, with the addition of Scherzer and Duffy to the pitching rotation, could that mean Trevor Bauer could be suspended for the rest of the season while he's facing his legal mess? We don't know. His leave has been extended until August 6th. I'm going to address that another time. But with Scherzer, Trey Turner, and now Danny Duffy coming over to the Dodgers are now favorites to win the World Series. There's no doubt in my mind. But the San Francisco Giants may have something to say about that, and I'll get to them here in a few minutes. But think about this. With those three big additions to the Dodger lineup, look out at Chavez Ravine. The Dodgers are trying to get back in first place in the National League West. And the National League West has just heated up like there is no tomorrow. And I'm going to tell you this. Look out at Chavez Ravine. And also, too, I just wanted to let you guys know, If you have any questions or comments during the show, and if you're tuning in, drop me a line. Let me know that you're watching. Please do that. I want to thank you guys, and also, too, thank you guys so much for being with me here on this day. Now, let's move on. The San Diego Padres acquired Adam Frazier from the Pittsburgh Pirates, and they added some versatility. And think about this for a minute. The Padres did not have to do much of anything to get Adam Frazier from the Pirates. That was a great acquisition. That was great. And here's why. Adam Frazier in 2021 for the Pittsburgh Pirates, he's hitting .324 right now. An OBP of 388 and a slugging percentage of 448. Let's get that slugging up just a little bit. And an OPS of 836. Wow. Adding Adam Frazier to the San Diego lineup is huge. That helps Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., just to name a few. Eric Hosmer. Think about that. The Pirates are not going anywhere. But the Padres, they're still 5.5 games back in the National League West behind the Dodgers and the Giants. But this is a good addition. This is a really excellent addition for the San Diego Padres. They needed some hitting, and they got some real good hitting too. And there's no two ways about it, everybody. There is no two ways about it. This was a memorable 2020. This was memorable for a lot of reasons. And the acquisition came at the most perfect time in the world. And I'll tell you what. If you think about how happy everybody is with those trades, I got to give it some love. And that's the bottom line. All right. Now, that wasn't the only acquisition that the San Diego Padres got. The San Diego Padres added some pitching. Daniel Hudson is coming over from the Washington Nationals. The Nationals today had a big old fire sale. And that's the truth of the matter. However, Daniel Hudson in 2021, he has some real good numbers. Think about this. He's one of the best middle relievers that the Padres could have picked up. He has 14 holds, a 4-1 record. Keep that in mind. He has a 2.20 ERA and a whip of 0.92 and 48 strikeouts to his credit. He is one of the best middle relievers that the San Diego Padres picked up. That is a good pickup, if you stop and think about it. Because the Padres could have used some help in the middle relief department. And honestly, the Padres now, if you think about this, the Padres now can really challenge in the National League West. Nobody doesn't realize this. Nobody doesn't know. You'll see how good Adam Frazier and Daniel Hudson really are. And that's the all honesty I can give you. It would have been nice if the Padres could have picked up Wilson Contreras from the Cubs. I would have loved to see that. But I think the asking price was just a little too high. But you get Adam Frazier from the Pirates, they didn't have to do much to get him. Daniel Hudson from the Nationals, they didn't have to pay much to get him either. But I'll say this, though. The Padres are going to make some noise. They're 5.5 games back. And that's the truth. Look out for the San Diego Padres in the National League West. Now, everybody's been asking me, Scott, the Dodgers and the Padres have done a lot at the deadline. What about the San Francisco Giants? Well, the San Francisco Giants all day today were so quiet, they were as quiet as a church mouse. But then, lo and behold, right at the buzzer at the deadline, they get the biggest piece of the Chicago Cubs fire sale puzzle. One of the biggest prizes on the board, if I may say so myself. As everybody knew, the Chicago Cubs had a fire sale. They got rid of a lot of players. And you'll find out who those players are as we go. But the biggest prize on the board that the Giants got, Chris Bryant. He got acquired by the San Francisco Giants right at the deadline. what did the San Francisco Giants get with Chris Bryant? Well, let me see. So far in 2021, Chris Bryant has a 267 batting average, an OBP of 388, a slugging percentage of 503, and an OPS of 861, 18 home runs, 51 RBIs. He was one of the best hitters that the Cubs had. And think about that. That was huge. The Giants picking up Chris Bryant right at the deadline was one of the best things that the Giants could do. He could help out San Francisco possibly win the National League West. Now, the National League West, you're thinking, oh, the Giants have it wrapped up. Now, no, I wouldn't quite say that. Yes, the Giants got Chris Bryant. Yes, they got him. But the Dodgers, they now have a super team. And the Padres got two pretty cheap acquisitions that may turn out to be the best thing that ever happened to them. The National League West is going to be tight. It's going to come down to the final weekend of late September or early October. But this acquisition and this pickup was huge for a lot of reasons. And the bottom line is this. The Giants picking up Chris Bryant, picking up one of the biggest prizes on the Chicago Cubs trading block. This was a big one. The only one that did not go was Wilson Contreras and Anthony Rizzo. Now, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me back up. Wilson Contreras was the only one that did not go anywhere else. He's staying with the Cubs organization. The Cubs had a fire sale, and boy, did they cash in. And I'll tell you what. The National League West is about to get crazy. It's crazy now, but it's about to get a lot more crazy as this week goes along. I need to take a quick 30-second refreshment break. Okay, I know it wasn't 30 seconds, but I had to take a little refreshment break. Now, that's the entire National League West picture. Let's turn to the AL East. The New York Yankees, they got a big prize off the Chicago Cubs fire sale trade board. First baseman Anthony Rizzo has been acquired by the New York Yankees. Rizzo has had some struggles, but he's starting to really turn it around. Rizzo right now, he had a 248 batting average, an on-base percentage of 346, a 446 slugging percentage, and a 792 OPS with 14 home runs and 40 RBIs. The Yankees needed some offensive help for Aaron Judge. That's all it boiled down to. And the Yankees at one point were willing to trade Luke Voit to get some help. However, that did not come out well. But with Anthony Rizzo, the Yankees may have gotten some offensive production. They can use him offensively, and I'll tell you what. With Anthony Rizzo coming to the Yankees may have, and also with the Yankees getting Joey Gallo, I forgot to write his numbers down, and I do apologize for that. With the Yankees getting Gallo and Anthony Rizzo, look out. I'll tell you what. The Yankees offense may have just gotten some production that they may have needed. The Yankees right now find themselves 8.5 games back and like about 3.5 games out of the second wild card. Could the Yankees gotten the answer that they needed with Anthony Rizzo and Joey Gallo? We don't know. But I'll tell you what. You better look out. Because the Yankees may be a team that could come back and win the division. They could pull a 1978, be 14.5 out, and come out of nowhere and take it away. I've seen stranger things happen in my life. But this acquisition, with Anthony Rizzo going to New York, is the answer. Might be a help. Could it be the answer that the Yankees need? We don't know. But this could be a help if you stop and think about it at the end of the day. Now, the Yankees also picked up a little bit of pitching help for Garrett Cole. The New York Yankees acquired left-handed pitcher Andrew Heaney from the Los Angeles Angels. Now, I know you're going to find this crazy. Now, Heaney's 2021 stats are very simple. He does have 113 strikeouts, but I see a couple of big problems. Number one, He has a 6-7 record with a 5.27 ERA and a WHIP of 1.31. The Yankees should have went out and got some better pitching. Now, nothing personal against Heaney. He does have 113 Ks. But those struggles right there would really kind of shut me off. That would have me a little bit worried. Now, this was kind of a surprise to me. There were some real good pitchers out there. They could have went out. I mean, the Yankees could have went out and got Zach Davies from the Cubs. They could have went out in that direction. But it didn't work that time. But here's the deal. The Yankees could have gotten Zach Davies. But they messed up on that one. And that's the truth of the matter. And I'll say this now. Right at the deadline, this could have been a big, big deal. And I'll tell you. The Yankees, I'll say this, outside of Garrett Cole, the Yankees pitching is not that good. Heaney's 113 Ks is a good thing. But he's got to get that ERA down if the Yankees want to become contenders at the end of the day. Okay. Let's move on. We've been talking about the National League West, and we've been talking a little bit about the AL East. What about some of these other teams that we've been thinking about? The Boston Red Sox. I'll get to them right now. And I'll tell you what. Not only did the Cubs have a fire sale, but the Washington Nationals, they also had a fire sale here today. The Red Sox acquired all-star outfielder Kyle Schwarber from the Washington Nationals. Now, this is a big deal. Right now, Schwarber's hitting .283 with an on-base percentage of .340. He's got a slugging percentage of .570 and an OPS of .910. That is big. And 25 home runs and 53 RBIs? This could be an offensive answer that the Red Sox needed. And I'll tell you what, I like this one for a lot of reasons. You got Rafael Devers, JD Martinez, Xander Bogaerts. You got Kyle Schwarber to the lineup. All of a sudden, the Boston Red Sox may have just become a super team in the American League. Think about it. Schwarber from the Nationals to the Red Sox. He can help Boston win the AL East. And then all of a sudden, he can take the Red Sox through all the way to the pennant. And all the way to possibly a World Series crown. That we don't know for sure. But I'll tell you what. This was perfect for a lot of reasons. Schwarber going to the Red Sox, that's big. You got Martinez, Bogaerts, and Devers, and now you got Schwarber. There's a whole top four lineup right there. And I'll say this. The Boston Red Sox, once again, are going to win the AL East. And that's all there is to it. It's going to get better. Could the Red Sox win the World Series? We don't know. But I'll say this. This is a perfect acquisition. I love it. I love it all the way to the end. And you just heard why. And that's all there is to it. Now, the Boston Red Sox could possibly win the World Series. However, we may have a new World Series contender, the Chicago White Sox. Think about this today. Charlie Kimbrough was acquired today by the Chicago White Sox, and he's coming over. And I love this for a lot of reasons. And I'll say it again. Charlie Kimbrough is going to the Chicago White Sox. He has been acquired. And I love this for a lot of reasons. There's two reasons. And I'm going to do a little bit of a comparison here. Charlie Kimbrough, he was one of the best closers in the National League. 23 saves, a 2-3 record. That's the only pitfall. He has a 0.49 ERA and a WHIP of 0.71 and 64 strikeouts. I love that for him, and here's why. I love that, and I'll explain. Liam Hendricks, You got the two best closers in all of Major League Baseball, in my opinion, in the same team. And think about Liam Hendricks. 25 saves, a 4-2 record, a 2.58 ERA, a whip of 0.73, and 71 strikeouts. You got two guys right there with 20 saves, with more than 20 saves on the same team. The White Sox bullpen got a big pick-me-up today. And that's all there is to it. And now the Cubs are going to be getting Nick Mangrel, and he's only played 54 games this season. He has a .305 batting average, yes, but only 2 home runs, 21 RBIs. And they are getting relief pitcher Cody Heuer. 14 holds, a 4-run. Now, Cody Heuer is leaving the White Sox and going to the Cubs. He has 14 holds, a 4-1 record, nice, a 5.12 ERA, and a whip of 1.42, and 39 Ks to his credit. The White Sox bullpen got some huge help, and this is big. Outside of the National League West, this was the big story of the day, in my opinion, and in the opinions of many. Charlie Kimbrell going to the White Sox. Wow. The White Sox went from contenders to possibly a pennant-winning team and possibly another world championship. We don't know that. We got a long way to go. The White Sox became buyers, and they got one of the biggest pitching prizes off the board. And Charlie Kimbrell. Now you got Charlie Kimbrell and Liam Hendricks on the same ball club. Look out. The White Sox bullpen has gotten bigger and badder than nobody would ever see. Look out on the south side of Chicago. And that wasn't the only acquisition of the day. The Chicago White Sox also got second baseman Cesar Hernandez from the Indians today. And they also got Ryan Tempera from the Chicago Cubs. He was part of that Chicago Cubs fire sale. Cesar Hernandez in 2021 for the Cleveland Indians. Now, Hernandez had a .231 batting average with an OBP of .307. His slugging percentage was only .431. His OPP was only .788 with 18 home runs and 47 RBIs. This one kind of had me scratching my head a little bit. Now, I know the Indians are had a little bit of a fire sale themselves. But Hernandez going to the White Sox, he can really get these numbers up. He can really do some damage and get these numbers up. And I would really like to see that happen. But I'll tell you what. Here's the deal. Hernandez in Cleveland, the Indians are struggling. There's no doubt. There's no secret. The Indians are down and out. Terry Francona's decided to skip the rest of the season to focus on his health. And a lot of people understand that. But I'll say this. Hernandez coming from Cleveland and going to the White Sox, that's something to think about. But the White Sox bullpen may have gotten a middle reliever that they needed badly. Ryan Tempera in 2021 so far. He has 16 holds, 1 save, and despite the 0-2 record, he does have a 2.91 ERA and a whip of 0.78 with 50 strikeouts to his credit. Tempera is a perfect middle reliever that the White Sox need. The White Sox bullpen is now loaded, and everybody knows it. I said it. I know we got Hendricks, and we got somebody else. We got Hendricks and Kimbrell. Now you add in Ryan Tempera as a middle reliever. The White Sox may have just gotten better and better and better. And that's all there is to it. So look out on the south side of Chicago. The White Sox are going to win the division and possibly the American League pennant if they keep playing like they are right now. Okay. Let's move on. The Toronto Blue Jays had some action here today as they acquired Jose Berrios from the Minnesota Twins. Berrios is one of the best starting pitchers that the Twins had. Now he's going to Toronto. The Blue Jays are 9.5 games back. They're trying to become playoff contenders. And if you stop and think about this, but look at what Berrios has done in 2021. He does have a 7-5 record with a 3.48 ERA and a whip of 1.04. However, he has 126 strikeouts to his credit. Now, the Blue Jays have not made much noise. They're 9.5 games back in the AL East. They're next to last. They're looking at the Baltimore Orioles are the biggest laughingstock in all of baseball right now. That's the only thing that they could be grateful for. But I'll say this: Berrios going to Toronto. I'm kind of scratching my head on that one. If anything, the Yankees should have gone for Berrios. The Yankees should have gone for him. The Yankees dropped the ball, and now the Toronto Blue Jays could make some noise. At the end of the day, the Yankees messed up. They could have went out and got Berrios, but they went with someone else instead, which I really thought that was a dumb idea. I hope Berrios pitches his best games with the Blue Jays and proves that the Blue Jays made a better choice than the New York Yankees. And that's all there is to it. All right. Now, the New York Mets, they were winners today. The New York Mets have acquired Javier Baez from the Chicago Cubs, along with starting pitcher Trevor Williams. Javier Baez, part of that 2016 World Series championship team. His 2021 numbers have been pretty good. Right now, Baez has a .248 batting average, an on-base percentage of .292, a slugging percentage of .484, and an OPS of .775, along with 22 home runs and 65 RBIs this season. That is big. And I'll get back to Baez in a second. Starting pitcher Trevor Williams, he is good but not great. He has a 4-2 record with a 5.06 ERA, a whip of 1.53, and 61 Ks to his credit. Now, Javier Baez coming over, that's big. That gives Dominic Smith some help. That gives Francisco Lindor some major help. Because right now, Lindor's playing better, but he's only hitting like about 220 right now. Dominic Smith, he's one of the best hitters that the Yankees have right now, that the Mets have right now. I'm sorry, I've been so focused on the Yankees. My apologies, Mets fans and Mets Nation. My bad. The New York Mets got a big win today, getting Javier Baez off the board. The New York Mets have all of a sudden become, they may have found a way to win the National League East. They may have. With the addition of Javier Baez, Trevor Williams, I'm a little bit on the fence about that. Now I know the Mets got Rich Hill from the Tampa Bay. I know they got Rich Hill. I know about that one. Trevor Williams, I'm a little bit on the fence with. Now I understand that DeGrom is injured. DeGrom and David Peterson are on the injured list. And I understand Carlos Carrasco is struggling in AAA Syracuse. And, of course, Noah Syndergaard is recovering from Tommy John surgery. I understand that. But they could have gone, but the Mets could have gone out, could have gone out and gotten Zach Davies or somebody like that. But Trevor Williams, I understand. Now, I understand that the Mets are trying to get some pitching. Good. But I'll give Trevor Williams the benefit of the doubt on this one. And that's the truth of the matter. And that's all I can do. All right. Hey, if you have any questions, comments, feel free. Let me know that you're tuning in. I'm going to be here for the next little bit. I'm not going to be here much longer. I am going to be here for a little bit longer. Just to let you know. All right. Let's move on. The Atlanta Braves had some action here on this day. And along with, the Atlanta Braves had some action as they acquired Eddie Osorio from the Cleveland Indians and Adam Duvall from the Miami Marlins. Now, the Atlanta Braves need some offensive help. With Ronald Acuna Jr. out for the rest of the season, could they have gotten some help from Rosario and Duvall? And keep in mind, Rosario's still on the injured list with a stomach muscle strain. But his 2021 numbers have been pretty good. Rosario. Right now, Eddie Rosario has a 254 batting average with an on-base percentage of 296. He does have a slugging percentage of 389. When he comes back, he needs to work on that a little bit. And an OPS of 685. Let's get that OPS up just a little bit. But he does have 7 home runs and 46 RBIs. Adam Duvall. Duvall right now, he has a 229 batting average along with a 277 OBP. Get those numbers up. A slugging percentage of 478 and an OPS of 755. Let's get all those four categories. Duvall, let's get those numbers up. But he does have 22 home runs and 68 RBIs to his credit. Could this be the answer that the Atlanta Braves need? These are good. These are two pretty decent players. But are they going to be able to measure up to what Ronald Acuna Jr. had done before he got hurt? We don't know. A lot of things we don't know right now. But the Atlanta Braves got some major league offensive help. The Braves right now are sitting about 4 or 5 games back in the National League East. They're a game under 500, but they're still right in the thick of it despite that. The Phillies are only playing 500 ball in the National League East, and they're still in the thick of it. The Mets are running away with the National League East right now. And that's the truth. The Phillies did pick up a couple of guys today. I forgot to write that information down. My bad. But the Braves may have gotten some help with Eddie Rosario and Adam Duvall. Hopefully, at the end of the day, this will work out in the end. And the truth is, if the Braves can catch the Mets, that will be something. Everybody knows what's at stake as we go into August. And that's the bottom line. All right. Let's move on. The Milwaukee Brewers acquired Daniel Norris from the Detroit Tigers. You know what? I'm not even going to worry about it. But anyway, since some of you guys want to know, I'm scratching my head on this one. The 2021 numbers. The 2021 numbers on Daniel Norris goes as follows. Daniel Norris, he only has a 1-3 record, 1 save, 6 holds, a 5.89 ERA, and a whip of 1.45 and 40 strikeouts. I'm scratching my head on this one. I really am. Because think about this for a second. The Brewers, if they wanted to go out and get somebody, they could have went out and got some offensive production. But instead, they go out and get a pitcher, a reliever that is struggling a little bit. Come on. Milwaukee, you should have went out and got Wilson Contreras, Chris Bryant, Javier Baez, somebody like that. You guys dropped the ball. There were about 3 or 4 errors. 3 or 4 errors in that department. You guys messed up. That's all there is to it. And this right here just proved it. Milwaukee, you should have went out and got Trevor Story, Wilson Contreras, somebody like that. But you wasted all that time in getting a reliever that has an ERA of almost 6? Really? If the Milwaukee Brewers lose the National League Central, I'm going to remember this for a long time. The Brewers had a chance to get Trevor Story. They had a chance to get Wilson Contreras. They messed up and they blew it, in my opinion. Okay. I'm going to move on before I give myself a headache. Here's another trade that's got my head. It's got my head scratching in my head, and my head spinning every which way but loose. J.A. Happ has been acquired by the St. Louis Cardinals, and John Gant goes to the Minnesota Twins. This is a head-scratcher for me. J.A. Happ, he's coming to the Cardinals. Can somebody explain to me why? Why in the world the Cardinals would want to have a trade like this? J.A. Happ, he has a 5-6 record, a 6.77 ERA, a whip of 1.57, and 77 strikeouts. Happ has an ERA of almost 7, for crying out loud. And he's a game below 500 for heaven's sakes. Really? The Cardinals should have kept John Gant. Because John Gant in 2021, yes, he has a 4-6 record, but he does have a 3.42 ERA, and yes, he does have a whip of 1.57 and 56 strikeouts. But Gant's ERA is much better than Happ's. And in Happ's last start, he got lit up. This trade was the dumbest thing I saw today at the deadline. Are you kidding me? Really? Somebody, I would love to see somebody from the Cardinals and the Twins give me some sort of explanation for this one. This was a waste of money and a waste of time in the professional opinions of many. Even the MLB network, even ESPN, even Bleacher Nation. They're all saying this trade was a joke. But really? That's all I can say about this one. I'm scratching my head. And I may have to take 2 Alka-Seltzer before this is all said and done. How ridiculous can this get? How dumb can somebody be to let this trade happen? All right. Let's move on to the last bit of news here at this trade deadline day. The Houston Astros have acquired Kendall Graveman from the Seattle Mariners in a 4-player trade. Now, this one I like. Now, Kendall Graveman is a relief pitcher, but he is he is a really good reliever. 10 saves, 4 holds, a 4-0 record with a 0.82 ERA, and a whip of 0.70 and 34 strikeouts to his credit. Graveman can save a ball game, but he also knows how to hold a lead. And I'll tell you what, the Astros pitching staff needed some help, and they got it in Graveman. The Astros are going to win the National League West because of it. You know what? This was a memorable trade deadline day and a memorable trade deadline that everybody's going to be talking about for a long time. The Dodgers are loaded with a super team. The Giants all day were so quiet, then lo and behold, right at the buzzer, they go out and get Chris Bryant. The Padres went out and got some pitching. We saw a few teams, a few head scratchers that are going to probably going to cause me a headache. But at the end of the day, the trade deadline is come and gone. As we go into August, that's when things are really going to get serious. And I'll tell you what, this is going to be fun to watch the rest of the way. Can the New York Mets hold on to a lead? We'll have to wait and see on that one. Can the Cardinals or the Reds come out of nowhere and catch the Brewers in the National League Central? The Brewers had a chance to get some help, to get some hitting, because they were hitting like 220 or 223 at one point. They blew it. Will that come back to haunt them? And the Cubs fire sale was very successful. With Javier Baez and Tempera going to the Mets. The White Sox got some bullpen help that they so desperately needed. And they got it. Now, as the trade deadline 2021 has come and gone, what will happen the rest of the way? We don't know. The White Sox are going to win the American League Central. That's all there is to it. With Kyle Schwarber coming over to the Red Sox, will that help the Red Sox? I think so. But the New York Yankees, they could have went out and got some major league starting pitching, but they blew it. They wasted their energy getting a starting pitcher with a losing record, but they could have gotten somebody, could have gotten a big name. But they did get Anthony Rizzo. I'll give them credit for that. The 2021 deadline is now over. The bottom line is, what will happen the rest of the way? We got a couple months before the playoffs get here. The Fall Classic will be here before you know it. This is going to be something to think about, and I was so glad to bring you up to date and give you the truth on this year's 2021 deadline. For all of us here at the Scott Manning YouTube Sports Network, I want to thank you guys so much for being with me here on this day. I want to thank you so much for tuning into this special edition of the Scott Manning YouTube Sports Talk. Thank you guys so much. You guys are a great group, and I appreciate you guys tuning in today. You guys have a great day. Thank you so much for being with me, and God bless. Goodbye, everybody, and I thank you. Let's go.